Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Heini. I'm Heini, and today we're going to do a calming bedtime yin practice. Let's get started. I have in detail videos of some of the asanas that we do in today's practice, and I'll add a link to them at the end of this video so you can check them out later. For our calming bedtime yin today, the props you might need would be a bolster or some kind of a pillow. I have here a sofa cushion that I'll be using, and then some kind of smaller prop as well. So I have a block here, but it could be also a smaller pillow or blanket that you fold. So those props might be handy today. And you can do this practice in your bed as well. So getting ready for good night's sleep. So if you rather find your way into your bed, then feel free to do so. We're going to start the practice from lying down on the belly. So come down to lie down on the front. Find any easy, comfortable pose, lying down on the belly. You could have your hands under the head, or you could lean the head all the way down onto the mat, onto your bed, maybe lengthen arms next to the sides. And you could just gently rock the pelvis from side to side a few times, allowing the hips, the lower back to soften. And then once you have found your first pose, first resting pose, take a few slightly deeper breaths in and out, allowing your inhalations to slide down towards the belly. You might even feel the belly gently bulging out onto the mat or onto your bed. Also allowing the rib cage to move freely, so we're not blocking any movements. Allow the breath to freely flow in and out. And then you might even close your eyes. As we go through our yin practice, I encourage you to focus on the sensations that you feel in your body in each pose. So rather than thinking about how the pose looks like or focusing on alignment in the pose, focus on how you feel. So you might go through the whole practice with your eyes closed. I will talk you through each pose. I will, of course, show the options as well. So if you want to have a little peek every now and then, I will be here practicing with you. But feel free to find your own shape in each pose. We'll be practicing each pose about 3 minutes today. So there will be plenty time to relax in each pose. And now in this first resting pose, we'll take another few breaths in and out. Allow a few more exhalations to soften effort, release tension. Allowing yourself to focus on relaxation through the whole practice. And then after those few breaths, or when you feel you'd be ready to move on from this resting pose, slowly bring your hands under the shoulders, step hands on the mat, on the bed, and then slowly lift yourself up onto all fours, onto hands and knees. And we'll give a gentle movement for the spine. We'll do a few cat-cow movements here. So as you inhale, exhale, round your back up towards the ceiling. And then with the next breath, open your chest. Find a gentle back bend in the spine. And again, with your next breath, round your back. You can allow the head to drop down, so rounding through the neck. And then again, coming into a gentle back bend, and allow this movement to be rather easy, rather effortless. So maybe a bit softer movement, softer effort than you would do in a more active yang practice. Keeping shoulders soft, keeping the hips soft. Let's do a couple more gentle movements, gentle cat-cows. And then from that movement, slowly bring your back somewhere to the center. And then we're going to go into next pose, into child's pose. So from all fours, round your back, leaning pelvis down towards the feet, leaning upper body down and forward. And allow the head to come down. It could come down on the mat. Or you could bring your hands under the head. Or this is where we could use some props. You could bring your pillow or bolster under your belly, under your chest, under the head. Supported child's pose. Or if you feel there's any pain in the knees, discomfort in the hips, you could use your bolster or maybe a block, some kind of smaller prop under the pelvis. So there's some support under the pelvis as well. So let yourself find that comfortable edge. This pose is a gentle opening for the back side of the spine, back side of the pelvis. You could open your knees wider apart. That might give you some sensations in the inner thighs as well. And if having arms overhead is uncomfortable in the shoulders, in the arms, feel free to bring the arms down next to your legs, next to your sides. Then bring your awareness, attention back to your breath. Now we could spend another few breaths in child's pose. And allow a few more exhalations to soften effort. Release tension wherever you might feel there is tension in your body now. Then after your few breaths, or when you feel that you would like to come out from this child's pose, just slowly, slowly bring your hands back onto the mat. And from that child's pose, lift yourself back onto hands and knees. If you have props there like bolsters, blocks, move them to the left side of your mat. And then from all fours, bring yourself back, lying down on the belly. And we take just a moment here, resting. In our Yin practice, this time in between the poses is equally important as the time we spend in the pose. This is our rebound, allowing the body to physically rebound, allowing the tissues to recoil. And it also allows you a moment to observe how you feel now, how you feel after the pose. So take a couple more breaths in and out here. And after those couple of breaths, we're going to continue into our next pose, the half frog pose. So we're still going to stay lying down on the belly, but now we're going to open the left hip, slide the left knee along the mat, along the floor, on the left side of the mat, so that we create an opening in the left inner thigh. If, when you have your knee on the mat, on the floor, or maybe on the bed, if that doesn't give you sensation on the inner thigh, you could slightly elevate the knee off the floor, off the mat, by bringing a bolster or maybe a block under that left knee or thigh. So in a way, lifting the floor higher up. Or you might even extend that left leg a bit further out to the side. But still keeping that sensation gentle on that left inner thigh, groin area. And here again, you could have hands under head, or you could bring your head all the way down, maybe arms open next to the shoulders. Or if you feel there's any pain in the shoulders, feel free to bring one arm or even both arms down next to your sides. In this pose, we have an option to use a pillow or a bolster under the chest as well. So if you want, maybe just a bit of cushioning or a bit of elevation for the chest, bring a pillow or bolster under the chest, under the head. So let yourself feel comfortable. Let the body feel at ease, even if there is a gentle stretch. Find that comfortable edge. And again, settle back into your breath. Back to that calm flow, calm rhythm in your own breath. We'll have another minute in this half frog pose. If you feel that you'd like to come out from the pose earlier, that's always an option. Feel free to release the pose and take a moment resting on the belly if you want. But know that you still have a bit more time to stay here if you want. You take another few breaths in and out in the half frog pose if you're still there. Again, a few more exhalations to release tension. Then after those few breaths, if you have any pillows, cushions under the chest, just slide them away. Bring the chest on the mat, and then from that half frog pose, slowly curl down onto your right side. So turning towards the left knee, and come lie down on the right side of the body. You could bend your both knees, maybe even hug the knees for a moment, closer to the belly, closer to the chest. Or if you want, you could bring head down towards the knees, a bit like sideways child's pose. And just taking that rebound here. Allowing the hips to close, allowing the spine to maybe gently round. And then from the right side, we're going to continue into our next pose, which is going to be an open twist. So when you feel ready, from your right side, start to open your chest up towards the ceiling. Make sure you have space there on the left side to open the chest. Maybe even open the left arm out to the side. But having that left arm open is very optional. You could also bring your left hand closer to your side, maybe onto your belly. So find a comfortable place for that left arm, shoulder. And you could bring some props, like a block pillow under the left shoulder or arm if you want. If you feel the left shoulder is uncomfortably, painfully hanging in the air, then lift the floor to your shoulder. Bring a prop under the arm, under the shoulder. And same goes for the legs. If having legs down on the mat doesn't feel good, maybe there's pain in the back or in the hips, you could use a bolster or a pillow under the legs. Or you could also bring a bolster, a pillow between the legs, especially if you feel a bit of pinching, discomfort in the hips. Having a bit more space between the legs might make the pose more comfortable. You could use the bolster also on top of the legs. So if you feel that you need any more grounding for the legs, if you feel that you'd like to have a bit of something extra weight, gently weighing the legs down, you could also bring a heavier prop like a bolster or blanket on top of the legs. here in a relaxed manner, allowing the left shoulder to slide away from the knees, creating this twist in the spine and opening along the left side of the body. You can turn your head to either side if that releases the neck more. And we have another minute here, so let yourself relax. Just let yourself follow that calm flow of your own breath. And remember, you can come out from the pose earlier, especially if you start to feel pain anywhere in the body. If you feel that it's impossible to stay relaxed any longer, then you can always adjust or come out from the pose. Then if you are still in the twist, take a few more breaths in and out. Allow a few more exhalations to soften, release tension. And then after your few breaths, start to slowly curl back down onto the right side. So turn towards the legs, come down onto your right side. And if you have any props there on top or maybe between the legs, move them down on the floor. And then from your side, come lie down on the back. And we'll take a moment here, resting on the back. If you want, you could have your knees bent, maybe lean the knees, the thighs inwards against each other, so the legs can still stay relaxed. Or you might also extend the legs all the way down. So a mini Shavasana pose. Again, that moment of rebound. Giving you time to notice how you feel now. Where do you feel that twist in your body now after you've come out from the shape? The pose is still there. The sensations might start to change. So just notice how you feel here. Take a couple more breaths in and out. Then after those couple of breaths, slowly bend the knees. Again, if you have your legs all the way down on the mat. And we start to prepare for that open twist on the other side. So at this point, if you need to move props to the other side of the mat, move the props first. And then from your back, slowly bring your both knees to the left side of the mat. You might curl all the way down onto the left side first. And then open the chest back up towards the ceiling. You might open the right arm out to the side as well. Or feel free to leave the shoulder, the arm more closed, maybe hand on the belly on the right side. And if you want, you bring props under the legs, between the legs, or even on top of the legs if that extra weight, extra grounding sounds like a good idea here. If you feel that there's any pain in the back, in the twist, you could also bring a pillow or bolster behind the back, leaning your back onto a prop. That might give some more support for your back. It might help you to relax the back more into the pose. We have another minute in this twist. If this is where you want to spend that minute, you can feel free to adjust your shape or how you use the props. Or if you want, you can come out from the pose earlier. Then again, if you are still in that twist, take a few more breaths in and out. Maybe a few slightly deeper breaths. In a way, preparing the body for the next transition. And then after those few breaths, from your twist, slowly start to curl towards the legs onto the left side, closing the chest, closing the arms. And if you have props on top or maybe between the legs, just move them aside. And from your side, bring yourself back onto the belly. So come back, lying down on the belly. Move my bolster aside. And then we're going to prepare for the half frog pose on the other side. So from lying down on the belly, now open your right hip, sliding the right knee along the mat or maybe along the bed. So opening the right inner thigh. And you can decide how high up, how low down that knee needs to come. Do you want to straighten the right leg further out to the side? Do you want to bring some propping under the right knee or thigh? And note that the second side might be different. You might want to use the props in a different way on the second side. We are all asymmetrical, so one side of the body might need different shape than the other side. Again here, if you want to use something soft, like a pillow or bolster under the chest or under the head, you can bring something soft to lean on. those calm breaths to slide down towards the belly. Now we could spend another minute in this half frog pose if you want. And now we could take another few breaths in and out in that half frog pose if you're still there. And maybe a few slightly deeper breaths in and out. And then after those few breaths, or when you feel you would like to come out from the half frog pose. And if you have pillows, bolsters under the chest, just push them away somewhere next to the mat. And then slowly slide the right leg down next to the left leg. If you want, you could gently rock the pelvis from side to side. Maybe turn the head from side to side a couple of times. And then from your belly, slowly roll down onto your back. We're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana pose, lying down on the back. And here, if you want, you could use a bolster, pillow under the legs. That might ease the lower back, the hips. But of course, you could also lengthen the legs all the way down onto the mat, or keep the knees bent so that you have your feet on the mat if that's a more comfortable resting pose for you. Coming into this final rebound, final resting pose. Allow your hands and arms find a place where the shoulders, the arms could soften, rest. Allow your jaw to soften. You could open and close the mouth a couple of times, just checking we're not biting teeth together, softening the jaw. And then one more time, bring your awareness, attention into your breath. And allow yourself to rest. could take another few breaths in and out in the resting pose. After those few breaths, you can make a choice for yourself if this is your bedtime, if you would like to just go to sleep from this practice. You can stay in your resting pose, let yourself drift to sleep. Or if you feel that it would still be a good idea to wake up from this resting pose, then start to bring some gentle movement back to your fingers, your toes. You gently move your palms, move the soles of the feet. Maybe rock the head from side to side if you want. You could hug the knees in towards the belly, towards the chest. Rock from side to side a couple of times. Then, if you would like to end this practice in a seat, just slowly roll down to one side. It could be the left or the right side. And then from your side, you can bring yourself up into a seat, maybe still keeping eyes closed or just softening the gaze down towards the mat, down towards the bed. We'll take a few more breaths in and out, slowly closing the practice. If it's part of your practice, you can bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, thank yourself for taking this time to bring yourself into your practice, into your body, into your breath. And I thank all of you for joining in, for sharing the practice. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you did, click subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of any new videos. I'll be posting lots more yoga related videos on this channel. I also teach online yoga classes, and if you're interested in those, you'll find more information in the description box below and on my website. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.